Ezri, Ezri, Meim Adonai, Osei Shamayim Varetz, Al Yitein Lamor Raglecha, Al Yanum Shomrecha, Hinei lo yanum velo yishan, Shomer Yisrael, Adonai Shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha yad yeminecha, Yomam Hashemesh lo yakeka, ve'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikora, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzedcha uvoecha, me'ata ve'ad olam. Psalm 121. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way, and your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian, your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm, and Adonai will guard your life, your going and your coming, now and forever.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God and God of all generations. Thou governest all things with infinite wisdom and mercy, and who guidest the destinies of all of humankind. As a parent have you loved us and showered your blessings upon us. Therefore we shall not murmur even when sorrow befalls us, but with humility and unfaltering trust we shall accept your decrees. In joy and in sorrow alike, we praise your goodness and acknowledge your justice. We remember that we are but strangers upon earth. Like a shadow, our life flees away. Help us, O God, so to walk in your sight, that when the few years of our earthly pilgrimage are ended, we may be ready to meet our end with tranquil mind. To thee we look for comfort and strength. When one of our beloved is taken from us and a link is broken in the chain of love which binds us together. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for you are with us. Be praised, O eternal our God, in all your dispensations, and sanctified be your name, now and forevermore. There is perhaps no piece of literature that is used more often at moments like this than the words of the 23rd Psalm. And I suppose the reason we say that is because it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And that makes it appropriate in and of itself. But I learned a long time ago when I was in rabbinical school, so that was a very long time ago, that King David, who is supposedly the author of the book of Psalms, had something else in mind when he wrote those words. And he had in mind advice to mourners, to say to them, don't get stuck in the middle of the valley. It's too easy to do, but you have to walk through it. As difficult as that may be from time to time, you have to walk through that valley. So we're going to call upon the cantor to chant these words, and then please join with her as she reads the English.
Adonai roi lo echsar binot asher yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yenaleni nafshi yeshovem yancheni v'maglei tzedek yancheni v'maglei tzedek leman shemo gam ki eilech begitz hamavet lo irara ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha hema yenachamuni taruch lefanai shulchan neged tzorarai dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya ach tov v'chesed yudefuni kol yemei chayai kol yemei chayai v'shavti bevei Adonai liorech yamim Adonai roi lo echsar. Psalm 23, we read together. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside still waters, and restores my soul. You lead me in right paths for the sake of your name. Even when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You have set a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever.
Poet has written, birth is a beginning and death is a destination. But life itself is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage. from childhood to maturity and from youth to age, from innocence to awareness and from ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or from strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, and from fear to faith. From defeat to defeat until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination. But life itself is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death, to life that is everlasting. At this point, I'd like to call upon Joanne's aunt, Dory Furman, to share some thoughts. I've known this family for a long, long time. Joys and sorrows. When I think about Joanne, I always think for sure about the picture of Joanne and Steve in the hallway of the temple, because they represent something very special to all of us. And so I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to be with you. And Dory, I just wanted to say that while you were getting up here. Okay? And there's your water.
Thank you.
And if you need something from us, just turn around and we'll try to help.
Thank you. It is amazing that Joanne and Suzanne got here at all, because their mother, Millie, had been given a medication during that time period that turned out to be very toxic. It was not known until much later. It just proves that both of them were meant to be here. It was Susie's birthday when I was visiting, and I had brought identical gifts for both of them. They unwrapped them, and Susie started crying. She said Joanne's gift was better, although they were exactly the same. So Joanne very willingly traded with her. She was so happy to please her little sister. Joanne and my son Mike were almost the same age, and they grew up together. They were very close all their lives. Unfortunately, Mike could not be here today, so I am speaking for both of us. Sometimes they were very funny together, and I think it was when they were teenagers. They started sending silly letters to each other just for fun. Mike wrote to Joanne, who became Mrs. Hassenpfeffer, and he was Mr. Sassafras. God knows what the mailman must have thought. With each letter, they had a different name, each one sillier than the one before. When they were grown, and over Christmas, Hanukkah holiday one year, something terrible happened to Mike. He was devastated. He could not eat or sleep. Len and I sent him on a vacation. Joanne dropped everything she was doing and went along with him to try and cheer him up. That really helped him a lot. They were more like sister and brother than cousins. She was a very important part of his life. They both had a zany, crazy sense of humor. And when Joanne laughed, everyone laughed with her because her laugh was contagious. Joanne was always such a giving, caring person. I will never forget what she did for me when I moved out of my house. I moved into an apartment. I had already paid in advance for a bus trip to Mount Rushmore. I was supposed to leave the day after I moved into the apartment, but I was so exhausted from moving, I decided I just could not move, and I could not go. Joanne found out, and just like when she helped Mike, she dropped everything and ran to my apartment. "You are going," she said, and that's that. She grabbed my suitcase, packed enough clothes for the trip, called me a cab, and dragged me down to the curb and saw that I got into the cab when it came. I had a good time. If not for Joanne, I never would have gone. You could actually call Joanne a life changer because she did things for others that literally changed something in their lives. She volunteered for quite a while at the Temple Emmanuel gift shop. She enjoyed being able to help. She also had developed quite some knowledge about jewelry from working in her father's shops. She loved animals. She and Steve and Ben saved a stray dog once, and they cared for him for the rest of his life. So she not only changed people's lives, but animals' lives too. Joanne was told long ago that she would never be able to have children. Woo-hoo! Suddenly, a small miracle named Ben came along. A chance in a million. He was a true miracle baby and has been such a wonderful gift from God that no matter what else happened in Joanne's and Steve's life, his presence transcended them all. I am so glad that she got to witness his life, his growing into a beautiful, successful human being in every way. He is a blessing from God. Thankfully, too, she has had Steve with her for 39 years. She wasn't always so easy to get along with once she developed so many health problems, but he stuck with her no matter what and helped take care of her. He has the patience of a saint, and we are so glad he has been there by her side all through the years. Ben has helped too, in spite of working multiple jobs while going to school full-time and then starting a new professional job in Detroit. I want to give thanks also to Diane, who has so diligently spent many years seeing that Joanne has gotten the care she needed. Ed has also helped, and Suzanne has done a large share as well. Joanne's medical case has not been average or easy, but extremely difficult to manage. Thanks, too, for the dear friends like Jan and Dorothy who have helped so much. There is also Ben's dear friend Delaney, who has been such a help and support. There are others, and thanks go to them too, even though I haven't mentioned their names. They know who they are, and they have been appreciated. Joanne's physical presence may no longer be here, and her long-time suffering has ended. But she is with family now, and her spirit will always remain with all of us. Now we have to concentrate on helping Ben and Steve to carry on. Amen.
And now we want to call upon Ben, because at Joanne's request, she asked him to sing something and to say a few words about his mom.
Good morning, everybody. I was originally going to say some words from the heart, but early this morning, some feelings really came to me, so I wrote some stuff down, and I hope it's okay for me to just kind of read this off for you guys. So here it goes. My mom was the most caring person that I've ever known. She always has looked after others before herself. Even in her hospice time, when she could see the trauma on my face, she would try to ensure that I was okay. Growing up, my parents sacrificed more than they ever could afford to, just to give me what I want and what would make me happy. She was the life of the room, a positive soul who truly believed, as her voicemail states, that it's never too late to be great. Even when I didn't believe in myself, when I was told I couldn't achieve something, she pushed me to do my best. She was my rock. The thing is, she was right. It is never too late to be great. Friends, family, if you have a dream, please work your hardest to make that dream a reality. My mother would have wanted that. If I could go back in time 10 years, before she started to give up on her life due to her depression, I would tell her, Mom, keep your head up. You've got this. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. I believe in you. I want to wrap up with this before I play a song per my mom's request that she dearly wanted me to play and requested 2 months ago while she was in hospice. Many of you I've spoken to recently may realize I've been saying I love you more often. I wish I had more time with her, but time can't be borrowed. I encourage you all now to text or turn to a loved one and let them know that you love them. Because the truth is, you never know when someone may take their last breath. My mom left this physical planet we call Earth on Earth Day and graduated to heaven, which has to mean something. It has to mean something more. She was truly an angel in the shape of my mom. Mom, spread your wings as you go. You're home, and I will always love you. This song, gathered myself together. A rabbi told me I might lose it a little bit, and I think I held myself together pretty well, all things considered. This song is called Someone You Loved, and the artist of it actually wrote it about his grandmother when she passed, so it's rightfully fitting. I feel that no one can save me. It's all or nothing really got away, driving me crazy. I need somebody to heal, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love, and I tend to close my eyes when it hurts sometimes. I fall into your arms. I'll be safe this time till I come back around. And now the day plays into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love, but now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. I let my guard down, and then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. Thank you.
Beloved family, dear friends, first, we're grateful for the wonderful tributes. Dory, we thank you for your words. Ben, we thank you for your words and for the beautiful song. I think your mother would be very proud, as she always was of you, as your dad is as well. There's great sadness in this day, always, when we lose the people that we love, but especially when the people that we love are still on the ladder of growing older. She had a long ways to go, but we know that physically she had her problems, and while you took care of her for many years, it was her desire to take care of you. And the two of you have shared these troubling times together. I do remember when you first came to see me. It's a long time ago. Hard for me to remember. I'm that much older. But I do remember when you guys came to see me. And your love for one another and your love for this institution have always remained with you. And you've passed it on. And I think that's a wonderful tribute to the fact that the two of you understood one another. And you understood that in some ways you were pioneers in a time that didn't always like pioneers, especially in certain ways. And so we give you an enormous amount of credit together for the life you've built. And I think it's appropriate that your pictures are in that hallway, because it reminds us of what a place like this is all about. And it is about diversity. And so we thank you, and we thank Joanne, because the two of you together made that happen. This is also a very bittersweet moment. There is sadness, of course, and that's the bitterness, because we don't like to lose the people that we love. But there is also a sweetness to this moment. I mean, she has suffered these last, I don't want to say weeks, I want to say many, many months. And when I saw her at hospice in January, and everybody left the room so we could talk. And while she wasn't a great talker, she did tell me, she said, I'm sick of this. And she wanted to go. And somehow or other, perhaps because she wanted to see more of your life, Ben, she didn't go. And when I saw her 2 weeks ago, and she was even less communicative, although she knew who I was and she talked, but very, very little. She said, I'm ready. So there is a blessing to this moment as well. She was too young, but there is some sweetness to the fact that whatever suffering there was has finally come to an end. And for all of us, moments like this make us pause. Make us pause to see who she was, not what she did. And I see that all of the time. I think it's important for us to learn that people are not what it is that they did, whatever it was. Because people do what they do because of the kind of people they are, not the other way around. And so moments like this make us pause to see that, to think about that, to think about the legacy that was hers, to think about what she tried to leave behind in her highest moments of living. The great philosopher Kierkegaard said, life must be lived forward, whatever it is, but can only be understood backward, only as we look at someone's life. And so I think that's what we're about when we come to moments like this, to say goodbye, yes, to a beloved one, but also to a friend. Because for most of us, she was not a part of our family, but she was a part of our life for a long, long time. We also learn at moments like this that time is sacred. Not just her time, but our time. We will only live so many years upon this earth. Some will live long lives, some will live short lives. The idea is not to gather the years. The idea is to allow who it is that we are to be felt by others. And that's what we're here to understand. I know some people would say we're here to celebrate it. And I understand that. But I don't think we're here to celebrate. We're here to mourn. And we're here to say we're sorry she's gone. But we remember all the things that she did that were good. I think it's also important for us to recognize, and I say this all the time, that we have tasks to perform. You as mourners have tasks. This is not just a time that we gather together, say a few words, and go on. First task is to grieve. Ben, yesterday you said, I've grieved for her already. And I understood that. Because she was gone twice. And now you have to grieve again. And your studies have taught you that grieving is a process. And you said that yesterday. I appreciate that. Because you do understand that it's not something that's short-lived. It takes time to grieve for our losses. And those moments come and go. Sometimes there'll be tears, and sometimes there'll be smiles. Sometimes there'll be recognition of who she was and what she tried to do in those highest moments. And at other times, there's going to be sadness for all of you because she's gone. And somehow it's not always fair. Second task is to wonder about what this is all about. Suzanne, you said something yesterday that will stick with me for a long time. You said she graduated from Earth School. I never heard that expression, but the more I think about it, the more that is absolutely correct. This is a school, sort of, but a school means that we have to think about what it is that may or may not be beyond this world. I don't know. I've never been there. People ask all the time, what's going to happen? I say, I really don't know. I've not been there. And I am not anxious to find out either. I don't think she was anxious to find out, but she was ready. But to think about graduating from Earth School like there is a graduate school, maybe that's true, I don't know. But we have to think about that. And that's a task for family, to think about what may happen to us. Third task is to remember all the good things she did. Listen, she wasn't a perfect human being. None of us is a perfect human being. So there's some things, even you, Ben, even though they never said no to you.
Oh, we did.
You did, I'm sure. But those are the things that you can forget. And lift up the things that she tried to do, the things that she wanted to be, even if she couldn't make it all the way to that. That's what remembering is about. It's about remembering the wonderful ways in which she interfaced with this family. Not just this generation, but the past. I have to say this. I've always seen this family in many ways as pioneers. Because of your parents. They lived on 4th and Steel. I always said 2nd and Steel. I'm sorry, I feel bad about that. I remember the house. 4th and Steel. Before Cherry Creek North became Cherry Creek North. They were at the beginning of that. And I remember the discussions we had about that. They were living forward, looking forward. And that's the way it ought to be. And that's how we ought to see Joanne. That's how she looked forward, no matter what it is that she tried to do. That's what it means to remember. And lastly, and I think this is a task as well, and Ben, it's primarily your task, or younger people here, to emulate who she was and to pass it on to the next generation, because it's worth passing on. Who she was, not what she did. So what was her legacy? She was a caregiver extraordinaire. Not just Ben and Steve, but many people in time. And that's who she wanted to be. And I think one of the things that bothered her the most, Steve, is that she wasn't going to be around to help you and to care for you. She worked hard as an accountant. She worked for companies. She worked for nonprofits. It was important to her. But mostly she was a caring person. It was always, are you okay? It's important to remember that. She did care about how other people were. She was kind and she was challenging. You said to me yesterday, Ben, or maybe it was Ed who said this, I'm not sure, that on her voicemail, it's never too late to be great. I don't look at that as just I look at it as a challenge. If we think about it, that's what she's saying for each of us. There are things that we can do that are really great. And that's what she was reminding us to do. So she was your challenger in days to come. She and Steve loved the outdoors, hot springs. They loved to cook together, and she loved to cook even by herself. But as Ben said, yeah, she was a good cook. And she would be happy if we laughed. So she had a good sense of humor in her life. She loved music and she played the piano. She was a person fixed on details. She wanted to make sure that everything was done right, as best she could do it. Even though she forgot about a driver's license or a motor vehicle that didn't get its license paid on time. It happens. She was a great mom, Ben. That's what you said. And that covers it, because that was and you were the highlight of her life. As Ed said yesterday, Steve and Joanne raised one heck of a kid. And you are. And you've been here. And there is a sweetness about you, too. It has to come from your mother. Couldn't have possibly come from your dad. She was close with her sisters. And this whole family was close and always have been. Yesterday, Ed and I were talking. And Ed said, I don't know where everybody is, but they'll be in touch with each other as they are 25 times a day. But that's the way it was in another generation as well. Because that's what this family has always been about. And so to you, Ben, you and your lovely friend, who has a great smile, been together for 4 years. I won't say anything about you'll miss her, but you'll always have her with you, because that's the kind of person she was, through joys and through sorrows, because that is what she would want for you, to keep her memory alive. To you, her beloved sisters, who have been so much a part of her life, and the rest of the family, who have always been there for each other. And of course, to you, Steve, you who in so many ways suffers the most at this time. We can only hope and pray that you will find comfort in her memory, and that you will keep those memories alive, and it'll bring you strength. I want to close by reading this wonderful poem that I think some of you will relate to. It's called The Messenger. Messenger, I am closer than ever before as the morning sun rises, and throughout the busy day, I am with you. Until the setting sun disappears on the horizon and we watch the day turning into night, I am here. You may feel a faint breeze stir around your head while you slumber as I gently kiss your forehead good night. The stars that shine so brightly in my heavenly sky help me watch over you and keep you from harm. I am the wind in the trees and the song of a bird. I am moonbeams in a midnight sky and the glorious rainbow after the storm. I am morning dew and freshly fallen snow. I am a butterfly flying overhead and a puppy happily at play. I'm a smile on a stranger's face, a gentle touch, a warm embrace. Listen to the wind for my message of love. Watch the sun rise and set in the sky with me. Feel my essence encircle you with warm memories. Open your heart to know I am not gone. Reach deep into your soul. You will find me. I am here. Have no fear. I am with you always. And so we hope and pray that each of you will find strength and comfort in this moment of sorrow, but in this moment of reflection. Adonai Natan v'Adonai lakach yehi shem Adonai mevarach me'ata v'ad olam. God has given. God has taken away. Praise be the name of God, now and forevermore. And let us all say together, Amen. And now, dear family and friends, as you are able, I would ask you please to rise for the traditional memorial prayer.
Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hamsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina kedoshim udorim, kezohar rakia, mazhirim. Et nishman Yona Malka ben Yitzchak shalcha le'olama. Bal harachamim Yastirea beseter kenafav le'olamim. Vitror hachayim et nishmata Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Amen.
O God, full of compassion, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence unto Joanne Marlene Potts, who has entered into eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou her possession, and may her repose ever be in peace. And let us all say together, Amen. You may be seated. Family wishes you to know that they will observe a period of mourning today, immediately after burial, through this evening. Tomorrow, from 6:30 on, and Thursday from 6:30 on. Services each night will be at 7 o'clock, and of course you are all encouraged to be with the family. They will be at Diane and Ed Green's home at 76 Charleau Circle in Cherry Hills, and services again will be at 7 o'clock each evening. And now we'll turn it over to James.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our service here at Temple Emmanuel. We will have interment at Emmanuel Cemetery. We'll ask you to please remain in your places as we escort the family and the casket out to their cars. And then we'll ask you if you'd like to join us to make your way to your cars as quickly as possible and start making your way to the cemetery. We don't have an escorted procession today, but you are welcome to follow the hearse and some of the family cars. But just like we need to obey all traffic laws, we'll ask you to obey all traffic laws. There are instructions in those handouts how to get to the cemetery. We'll ask the pallbearers to come forward at this time.